Welcome to today's celebratory live stream. I'm going to wait just a minute for people to start coming in. Um, so I'll give it just a minute for people to enter the chat. If you're just joining, welcome. I'll give everybody a few minutes. We're going to read some chat messages. We're going to read some community post messages. We're going to give away 2 mugs. Very excited. I see a bunch of people giving messages. Welcome everybody. Stephen Turquoise, welcome. Marble Sky, Bippo, welcome. We got A Player, Total Gamers, Hensel Holtz, Power to 99. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are. We've got Danger Dave, Hank the Tank modding for us, several mods in here. Lucas the Gamer, M3RK, thank you for the congratulations. Moth, welcome. Thanks for being here. Chelsea Turner, thank you. Rail Fan 630, John Smith, hello. Sarah Martinez, hello. Everybody's joining. I'll give everybody just a couple of minutes to join, and then I'll answer any questions you all may have on this live stream. I'll also talk about some of the comments from the post that I posted yesterday, just celebrating 15,000 subscribers. Honestly, never thought the channel would do that, but here we are. I'm also going to give away 2 mugs here in just a bit. The School Principal Reacts mugs that are for sale on the channel page or on any video page on my channel. So 2 of you will walk away with 2 free mugs from this live stream. People are still coming in. We've got about 35 of us at this point. We've got Fandom the Wise. Hello, good afternoon. Good to see you, Hank. Brandon Clardy saying congratulations. Thank you very much. Moth is saying there seems to be a lag with the audio. I'm not sure. There usually is a little bit of lag. We'll just do the best we can with it. Honey Bear says, I'm a big fan, been watching for a very long time. Yeah, there are some people whose profile, when they make comments, I recognize from the very beginning of the channel, which is really cool. People that have been watching since a couple hundred subscribers. So I appreciate it. However long you've been watching, even if you just found me, even if this is your first time seeing me, I appreciate the support. Strolling with Jordan, how's it going? Mark Page, are you planning to read comments? Yes, I will. So I will read chat messages from this live stream. I will also go back and read the comments from the post yesterday where I just sort of celebrated and posted about having reached 15,000 subscribers. Salty06, welcome. Stephen Turquoise, welcome. M3RK says, how did you begin on YouTube? That's an interesting story. Some of you all have heard it before, how I started on YouTube. So at some time around when the pandemic started, I don't know exactly when, I started getting really into reaction videos. And so especially professionals in different fields that do that. So if you all know the channel Legal Eagle, I used to watch him a lot. Devin, who does, he doesn't do it so much anymore, but he started out doing a lot of reactions to some of the same stuff I do in movies, but he would take kind of a legal perspective. I also watch Dr. Mike quite a bit. He's really big. You may be familiar with his channel, Dr. Mike, who does a lot of that stuff. Even still today, he will do his medical opinion of various shows that have medical issues in it. And then there's another channel called 7-4 Gear. Basically the same thing, but it's a pilot who reacts to movies and TV shows with aviation. So I was just sitting around one day and I searched for Principal reacts to, whatever, and it didn't exist. It did not exist. And so I thought, well, maybe someday I can do that. So it was a couple years after that I actually started the channel in 2023, and the rest is history, so to speak. So I'm going to go back up to where I left off. Marble Sky, what if I want to fly away? Okay, Marble Sky. Longest channel member that there is, 15 months going strong. Mark Crespo, good to see you again, sir. Good to see you, Mark. Blueberry Boy saying hello. I like the artwork, by the way. I still have that 10K artwork. Blueberry Boy, that one was really good. I still have that. Thomas T-Bone, happy hump day and congratulations on 15K subs. Yep, thank you very much. Fandom the Wise, I'm studying to be a teacher a couple states over. That's awesome. People do tell me sometimes that, hey, I'm studying to be a teacher, or I'm a paraprofessional, or I have another role in the school. That's really cool. We need good teachers. We do as a country. Not that we don't have them, but those people are retiring and getting older, and so we need new teachers. Absolutely. Zigzam Z says hello. John Smith says seems fine to me. I'm assuming you mean the audio. Hopefully it's okay on your end. I'll just keep on going. Winshow says what principle means. I don't know if you mean what does it mean what I'm saying, or what does the word principal mean. The principal is typically the head of a school. Some countries don't call it that. Interestingly, you'll hear the words headmaster or dean of this or dean of that. You'll hear that in some countries. Here in the U.S., it's mostly principal. Headmaster, you'll hear that if you're talking about a private school or a religious school. Moth says the audio's choppy. Hopefully it'll improve a bit as we go along. If it crashes for some reason, I will restart that. Natster, I'm using an iPad at the moment, but I used an iPad on the members only stream we did, and it was okay. So hopefully this will keep going strong. Honey Bear says, thanks for the amazing content. It makes my day whenever you upload. That is really cool, very rewarding to hear comments like that. Some people do say, hey, I really like your uploads, or I look for it every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. So I appreciate that. Twilight Sparkle. Twilight Sparkle is in the stream. I love your videos. Interestingly, there were two My Little Pony episodes or reactions to that, School Days 1 and 2, that people have asked for, that just recently cleared the copyright dispute process, so I plan to publish those soon. Bipolit. Moth says he loves Legal Eagle. Yeah, I watch him too. He used to do a lot more reaction videos. Now it's more political commentary, but I enjoy his older stuff. Let's see. Maruko says, have you been to any school in Croatia? No, I've never been to Croatia. Power Violent Nightmare says, I finally made it here. Welcome. Bippo Lit. No principal reactions. What in the world is this? Not sure what you mean by that, but okay. Mark Page says, so Atlanta, Georgia at 90s tomorrow through the weekend, so make sure and drink plenty of water and use plenty of sunscreen. So yeah, we are experiencing a heat wave right now in Georgia and across the country. It's been quite hot here lately, in the upper 90s on some days. Fandom the Wise, Dr. Mike and Legal Eagle did a collab a few days ago. Yeah, I did watch that, in fact. They've done a couple of collabs where, Dr. Mike talks about the medical side of things and Devin talks about the legal stuff. It's pretty good. Honey Bear says, I enjoy Dr. Dana. Not familiar with her, but there's a lot of doctors now on YouTube. There's a ton of them, actually. I don't know of many other principals, or at least not principals who react to things. Dan Graff says, or Kanito Gat says, howdy. Dan Graff says, have you seen Galaxy Geeks videos? I've not. I would be happy to check them out. Hensel Holt says, yes, that's how I found this channel, because I watch professional reactors. Yeah, that's how I came up with the idea. I wasn't intending on starting a YouTube channel. I just searched for it and it didn't exist. So I decided to start one. Here in a minute, we'll do our first mug giveaway. I'm going to give away 2 mugs on this stream, 2 Principal Reacts mugs, so you have a chance to win that. If you win, you don't have to give me your address or anything like that for this. I will have a code to give you. So you'll need to DM me on Facebook or Instagram or X, and I can give you your code so that no one else uses it. Evanimal, Evanimal React says, congratulations, I appreciate it. Stephen Turquoise says, I think it would be amazing if there was a tier list for Ned's Declassified, like for the characters or for the episodes. Yeah, Stephen, a few people have suggested that, including yourself. So I think that's a good idea to do either the teachers on there or the students on there or the characters in general tier list. I think that would be cool. Maybe like after I finish with the series or toward the end. I think that would be cool. Daydream Fairy Girl says hello. Rail Fan 630 says, have you watched Kindergarten Cop? I remember seeing bits and pieces of it way back when it was much more popular and much more new. I've not seen it from beginning to end, and I've never seen it really as an adult. I remember as a kid seeing little bits and pieces of it. So that could be a potential reaction video. Johnny Boy 556, hello. Thank you for being here. Danger Dave, any future video plans in the pipeline? Yeah, tons of them. I take all of my content suggestions from viewers. So if you have commented in the comment section of my videos, hey, please do this, please do that. It is phone here in my notes app. I do keep track of all of those. And if suggested something that has not been recommended, it's most likely because either something about the content of it or more often it is just not as many people have suggested it yet. Okay, let me find where I was. Sorry, I lost my place here for a minute. Bear with me here. I'm sorry, bear with me. It went all the way back to the... Okay, here I am. I found my place. Ricardo Zatino says, how has your summer been going so far? It's been going great. Hope yours is too, although the summer is sort of almost over. Here in Georgia, a lot of places start school here soon, within the next couple of weeks. So, Fandom the Y says, need a new Vegeta video to celebrate 15K. If you don't know what they're talking about, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, when I passed 9,000 subscribers, I made a little short kind of mimicking that. Vegeta and his scouter talking about somebody else's power level. I'm not a huge anime fan, but or nor do I know that much about it, but I did make that for 9,000. Evanable reacts, do your students congratulate you? Not a whole lot of people in real life know that I have YouTube, believe it or not. Some do, but not a whole lot do. But those that do tend to congratulate me on things. Anthony Holaguna says hi. Logan Lynch says hi. Power Violence says, and the message kind of got cut off, I have nothing to do with school anymore. What does it say? I'm curious about what U.S. schools are like. It's tough to say what they're like because they're so different. There are schools in the U.S. that are amazing. There are schools in the U.S. that are really not. So it sort of depends. And unfortunately, the worse a school is, the more attention it seems to get. But by and large, I think U.S. schools are good, but some are very, very good and some are not. So, and some are everywhere in between. I mean, think about it. There are millions of students in the U.S., so it sort of depends. Mark Page. I should mention that SpongeBob Patty Hype comes on Friday, so you don't want to miss this. Yeah, Friday, which I have some news on that. So I believe this Friday is my 99th reaction video to SpongeBob. And my intent was to react to the SpongeBob movie from 2004, and I did that. I did do some reaction videos to that are not published. I'm sort of fighting a little bit of a battle with Paramount, and they're not going to allow me to publish it publicly, unfortunately. I'm trying to at least get it to where the channel members can watch it. I think I have part one pretty much down where they can watch it, or they will be able to watch it. But my intent was to make the 100th reaction that, but unfortunately, Paramount is not going to allow me to do that. So you can thank them for that. But I will have, I think it's going to be The Algae's Always Greener, if you know that episode. That will be the 100th one. Jennifer says, are you a principal at a school? I was until June 30th. I made a community post on June 30th saying that I was moving into a different leadership role with another district. So you can check that out if you want. Salty says, I was taught the difference between principal and principal as you think of principal as your paddle. Principal spelled P-A-L. Yep. Power Violence says in Germany it's called director. Yeah, that is used in some countries. It sort of depends on what country you live in. Moth says we love Headmistress Trunchbull. Yeah, not many people do after they've been to the Chokey and everything else. Not so much. Nat Stir says, yeah, he was. Marble Sky says, are principals the same as dictators? No, they are not. Bipolit says the audio is fine. Larry Jester says hello. I'm going to keep on going for a minute and I'll have to just stop and let's give away some mugs. We have 86 of us here. So I want everybody to have a chance for a mug. And I'll give one away and then I'll read some of the community post comments from the other day, and then we'll give away another mug, and then we'll chat a little while longer and we'll wrap it up. Bippo Lit says, did she steal your computer? No. As you may notice, I'm not in my normal setup, which is why I'm on the iPad. Anchorman says hello. Maruko says, in Croatia, for principal, we say, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it. My Serbian is not great. As director in Serbia. Thomas T-Bone says, Brandon, do you have a reaction to Nintendo coming out saying Mario and Princess Peach are just friends? No, I do not plan to do that. Mark Page, and Dean is most notably working at a college. Yeah, Dean is a college name, but I've also seen it at high schools. Typically, like a dean of students means you're underneath the principal, but you have some leadership role over students. M3RK, the SpongeBob episodes make my day. I appreciate it. Moth, she stole it and threw me in the Chokey. Yeah. Oh, I see. They were talking about Trunchbull there. Johnny Boy says, I did change my Discord name to my YouTube name. Okay. Fandom the Y says, one of the shows you need to react to is Victorious. It's a live action show. Yeah, I probably will do some Victorious. Even if I don't do the whole entire series, I'll go through and do some episodes. I do plan to do that. Anchorman says, you should react to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episodes. Railfan says, a movie you should do is Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, I could, I suppose. Logan Lynch, when are you going to do other shows like Victorious and Zoe 101? I don't know. I do plan to do them, but it may be toward the end of the year before I'm able to do one of those, or perhaps later on in the fall. I may experiment and do some of both of those. Let's see. Pedro Lara says, could you react to the Magic School Bus? A lot of people have asked for that, so I do plan to do that eventually. Brodiger suggests Victorious. Bippolit mentions Legal doing Restraining SpongeBob. Railfan also seconds Magic School Bus. Tyler Thunder, nice to see you again. It's been a while. And I apologize, I'm not going to be able to read every episode. Tyler Thunder, thanks for the congrats. Jay Medley, nice to see you. I may have to stop in just a minute, and we need to give away some mugs. Two of you are going to be walking away with some mugs. MLP says, please react to Monster High. I have looked at that before. It's a possibility. I don't know whether I'll do it or not, but it's a possibility. Ivan Hernandez mentioned Liberty's Kids. I am familiar with that. That's a great show. I may do at least a couple episodes of that. I don't know how popular it is these days, but it's a great show. I do remember seeing that. Easy Sparkle says, congrats on 15K. I appreciate it. Fandom DeWise says, you have a Facebook? Yes, I do. The channel has a Facebook. You can follow it if you like. Justice League. Anchorman suggests Justice League. Let's see. Bippolit mentions a mug to put my 24-ounce candy soda in. Yep. All right, so I think I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to pick up where I left off. I'm just sort of writing down where I left off. and we're going to give away some mugs. All right, so here's how I'm going to do it. I'm at the very bottom of the chat now. I'll come back to the other chat messages in a minute. So we're going to give away a mug. There's 92 people here. Here's what we're going to do. If you want to be entered to win the mug, this is the way I sort of did it last time. Hopefully it'll work. So in a moment, I'm going to generate a random number depending on how many people want to win the mug. If you would like to win one of the mugs, please type 1 in the chat. Okay, that's all you have to do. If you don't want to enter or you're not paying attention, then don't worry about it. If you'd like to enter to win a mug, type 1, and I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for everybody to chime in that wants to. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to count up. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. There might be too many. Y'all might have to help me. And only type it once or it won't be counted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to count up and see how many total people typed 1. Then I'm going to get on my phone here. I'm going to generate a random number, and then whatever number person that was that typed 1 will win the mug. Okay? So please only type 1 once. I'm not going to count it if you do it more than once. And then after I feel like everybody's had a chance to enter to win, we'll give away the mug. Okay? And again, you don't have to give me your address for this. And I'm getting the random number generator ready. You don't have to give me your address or anything like that. You just have to DM me on either Facebook or Instagram or X, one of those, and then I'll send you your code. All right. So I'm going to start to count them up here. So I'm going to go all the way, and you still have a couple of minutes to type 1 if you want to enter. Let me go back up to the top and count. So the first person to type 1 was Jared Wright. I'm going to count all the ones here. I may have to sort of tally. I have a sheet of paper here. I may have to tally it up. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you may have to check my math on this. So Hensel Holtz makes 5. 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Larry Jester is 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 would be Dan Graff. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 would be, I think, Danger Dave. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, that'd be 25 would be Andre Imperium. And if this is not exact, it's okay as long as I get about the right maximum number, okay? So 25 was Andre Imperium, 26, 27, 28, and a couple of people are doing it more than once. 30, okay. And some people just started saying random numbers. That doesn't help. All right. I think it's about 35. And again, as long as there's not too many more after. I think it's about 35. It may not be exact, but let's do the random number. This is going to be, I'm going to draw a random number from 1 to 35, and we'll see who wins, okay? And hopefully I was fairly accurate with that. I'm sorry if it wasn't exact. All right. So I'm going to generate a random number, and I'll show it to you here on my phone. So the result was, if you can see that, it was 19. That was the random number that was generated. So let's see, who would 19 have been? So check my math on this part. So number 1 was Jared Wright. Okay. 2 was Clown. 3 was Bippolit. 4 was Riker. 5 was Hensel Host. 6 was Moth. 7 was Sid Singh. 8 was Fandom the Wise. 9 was Transparent Eclipse. And 10 was Larry Jester. 11 was Video Master. 12 was M3RK. Banana is Cool, Blueberry Boy. 15 was Dan Graff, and the number is 19, right? So Railfan was 16, Panax was 17. Nice to see you, by the way. Marble Sky. Now Panax was, I'll make sure I get this right, was 17. Marble Sky, did he already? No, he didn't already put one. So Marble Sky was 18. So it should be Alexis Rogers, right? Do I have that right? Alexis Rogers should be the winner of that one. Is that correct? Y'all want to check me on that real quick? So I drew number 19, and according to my count, it should be Alexis Rogers. Do I have that right? Let me know in the chat if I. Yeah, Banana is cool as just saying no. He wanted to win. We'll have another one before the stream is over. Y'all check my math. Can anybody confirm it was Alexis Rogers that should have won that? I think she was. He or she was number 19. Can anybody confirm it was Alexis? Okay. All right. People are saying yes, it was Alexis Rogers. So congratulations, Alexis. If you want to just DM me on either Facebook or Instagram or X and just say, hey, I'm Alexis Rogers. I'm the one who won, and I'll confirm that, and I'll send you your code. Okay. I'm going to read some more chat messages, and then we'll do another drawing, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Okay. I'll go back. I'll read some newer messages, and then if I have time, I'll go back and read some older messages. Okay. Okay. So, let's see. And I'm gonna go backwards in the chat messages and just read as many as I can. Okay. So Kyron YouTube vid says, "Will you do a reaction video to Bob the Builder, Scruffy the Detective?" I do remember Bob the Builder. I have seen that before. I didn't know they had any school related stuff, but I can do it if enough people request it. Mark Page. Okay, if you need to comment on my best day ever, you can do it here, or you can post. I'm not sure what you mean on honestly, but if you want to suggest something, you can comment on a video, and I'll check it out. Additive Hero. I like wearing Hawaiian shirts. They're comfortable to wear in the summer. Yeah, lightweight clothing is the way to go right now. Let's see, what else? A couple people said they had some audio issues, but other people are saying it's fine. But hopefully it clears up if you're having problems. All right, let me scroll up some more and read some more messages. Let's see. Namcor said, I wonder if there are any video games that involve school. Yeah, a bunch have been suggested, and I plan to do some of those. Whether they're school related or not, some people ask me to play things that aren't school related, which I'm happy to do. Let's see. Blueberry Boy says react to Henry Danger. A few people have suggested that. It is on my list. If there's something that you suggested that I have not reacted to, the most likely explanation is that not a lot of other people have suggested it. Let's see. Clown says, what do you think of Mr. Krabs as a character? Most of the time, it's pretty awful because he tends to just straight up manipulate SpongeBob. Every once in a while, he shows concern for him, but sometimes it's just because he doesn't want SpongeBob to quit the Krusty Krab. MLP says you should watch the season 3 premiere of My Little Pony. I'll check into it. I recently did season 8, The School of Friendship, School Days Parts 1 and 2. I hope to release that in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully you all will enjoy that. Kevin the King says, hi, Mr. Principal. Welcome, or nice to see you. I was going to say welcome to the live stream, but we've started quite a while ago. Let's see. Jacob H says you need to watch the introduction episodes of SpongeBob, like for Sandy and Plankton. I'm happy to do that. I literally just whatever episode is recommended the most, that's the one I react to. Hensel Holt said, would you react to the Nutty Professor movies? Yeah, maybe. It has to be clean. That's the main thing. I'd have to check it out. React. Oren and Pinky says react to SpongeBob season 16 episode 1. I'll check it out. I know there are some brand new episodes. Someone told me that there's a new boating school episode that I want to check out. Someone told, I have the name of it written down. I can't think of it at the moment. Ivan Hernandez says, "Can you react to the regular show?" Yeah, as long as it's clean, I can, and as long as everybody or other people recommend it. Kaimani Burrell, teacher's pet level member, has, let's see, yeah, in Jamaica I had a dean of discipline as well as in New York City. Yeah, you have that. And they don't always call it dean of discipline, they call it like dean of students, but that's kind of what it is, to help with discipline and help people, be positive and do positive things and avoid trouble. Random account 21 says, if you start watching OE 101, which you need to, the principal is a D. Sorry if it cut out. If it cut out for a moment, someone was calling me during this live stream. America says, are you in the office? No, I'm not. I don't do filming at work. Let's see. Natster says Divine Comedy does not have the moderator role. I'll try and fix that. I thought I solved that. All right, I thought I added him. Let's see, anything else? Rail fan. When I was in high school on my last year, we had active shooter drill to practice. Yeah, unfortunately, that is rather commonplace now for school safety. Just about every school you're going to find in the U.S. does some version of that, unfortunately, for school safety. Random account. Did you have a paddle in your office? My principal actually did, but didn't use them. Yeah, so corporal punishment is legal in the state of Georgia. Some states allow it and some don't. Even in places where it's legal, some school districts choose not to do it. I've worked in school districts that do it, and I've worked in school districts that don't. I typically did not. I could have, but I didn't. And no, I didn't have a paddle in my office. I did one time take over for a teacher when I was a teacher who had a paddle, and they called it the Board of Education. That's what they called it. So I never used it myself, though. Okay. So, It Really Hurts said, if you could name one fact about New Zealand, I'll subscribe. I actually know a little about New Zealand just from people that I met, and also there's a popular channel called Living Big in a Tiny House that I've seen before, which is the host is from New Zealand, and they always talk about Auckland and how expensive it is. So that's one thing that I do know about New Zealand. Hope you do subscribe, by the way. All right. I'll read some more chat messages, and then we're going to give away another mug. So if you didn't win the first one, you do have another chance. Okay, Fandom the Wise says, I'm still trying to catch up. I'm on Krusty Towers from about 4 months ago. Yeah, Krusty Towers is my all-time favorite episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. 10 out of 10 episode, easily. I do have a playlist. If you missed some of my reactions, you can go back and watch those. I know some people just put on my playlist and just sort of let them roll. All 98 now. I think this Friday makes 99 reaction videos to SpongeBob. Eagles fan says, are you principal of a middle school, elementary school, or a high school? So I won't go into that. I will say that I moved into a different leadership role, like I mentioned earlier. Let's see. All right, so I read most of the older episodes. Sorry if I didn't get to yours. I have been on other people's live streams before where they don't get to my comment. It's sort of hard to do. I'm scrolling through all these messages. So I'm going to go back and read a few newer messages, and then we're going to give away a mug. Then I'm going to read the comments that came in from the community post, just celebrating 15,000 subscribers, and then we'll end the stream, okay? I see there's 85 of us here at the moment. So let me go to the end of the newest messages and read those. Bazinga says, why do I keep hearing tapping noises? I don't know. It's not on my end, I don't think. Let's see. Moth says, I'm going to watch Krusty Towers after this. I can't say that I blame you. Excuse me. Juan Torres says, hi. Nice to see you. Mark Page said, Brandon, can we do best day ever when you can? I'll check it out. I can't make promises, but I'll check it out. Yeah, Patty Hype on Friday, that's true. Of course, if you're a channel member, honor roll or higher, you've already seen it, or you already have access to it. Alec Zrodlowski, says, would you ever watch any anime suggested by fans? I would, and I have. I do have an anime playlist. It's not incredibly long, but I've done Yu Yu Hakusho. I've done Naruto. I think that's members only though. I've done Sailor Moon. I've done a few different ones, but yes, I will as long as it's clean. Um, Anthony Farrow says Krusty Towers is also one of my favorite episodes. It's my all-time favorite so far, at least. Very hilarious. Ryan McKinney says Krusty Towers comes from season 4, which is even more shocking. Yeah, and they tend to get more and more so as they go. Timothy Y says, "Wow, I assumed corporal punishment had been outlawed everywhere in the U.S. for like 30 years." No, a lot of people are surprised by that. So in some states it's legal and in some it's not. In places where it's legal, there are very strict rules about that, about how it has to be carried out. And typically parents are allowed the opportunity to opt out of that. Some parents ask for it. I mean, believe it or not, they want that. And some do not. So it's by no means forced on anyone. It's the parents can opt out in places where it's legal. And then some counties in Georgia don't allow it, even though it's legal for them to do so. Let's see. Gino Cuddy says, "Hello, Brandon. Hope all is well. I'm hoping you react to the Andy Griffith show, Andy Discovers America." I have had that suggested, and there are school episodes in that series. I'm thinking of like Ernest T. Bass, when he goes to school, and Opie's in school, of course. I may look at that eventually. Um, Mr. Krabs DC-9 Aircraft, channel member, says, "Have you ever had to talk to a student that used his or her phone in class?" Yes, many, many, many times. Yes, I have. Ryan McKinney, "What is the giveaway for?" It's for a mug. We've already given away one. Alexis Rogers won that one, and we'll give away another one toward the end. Additive Hero says, "What about Spider-Man? That has school scenes." I do plan to do some Spider-Man stuff. I have done a reaction early on in the channel's history to Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man. There's so many of them I can't keep track, but I did do a reaction to that. You can check it out. It is a little rough because it's an earlier video, but it is there on the channel. Ivan says, "A regular show is a clean. It's a Cartoon Network show." Okay, I may check it out. Ross Bristow says, "At my high school, there were 4 or 5 deans." Yeah, if it's a large school, you may have that. I've seen schools that have one principal and that's it, nobody else. I've seen schools that were so big they had to have 9, 10, 11, 12 assistant principals for a very, very large school. All right, so Hensel Holtz said he's already said he won't play the game Bully because it's not clean. Yeah, that is true. Sorry. Let's see. Mark Page says, "Brandon, Halloween 2025 is on Friday, right?" I didn't know that, but that's interesting. There are some people that have asked me to dress up as Principal Krubbs for that, or Vice Principal Krubbs. We'll see if that happens or not. You all will have to let me know if you're interested in that at all, with the sunglasses and the white blazer and the whole 9 yards. Ross Bristow donated $2. I greatly appreciate all the donations and all the gifts during streams and on videos. Super thanks and super chats. I appreciate that. He says, "My school had 3 or 4 deans." And I mentioned a minute ago, yeah, I have heard of that. It depends on the size of the school. So a lot of school districts will say, like, if you have this many students, you get just a principal. If you have this many students, you get a principal and 1 assistant principal, or 2 or 3 or 4. It depends on the size of the school typically. But yes, I have heard of that. Multiple assistant principals or deans. I have heard of that before. So, all right, let me scroll down to the bottom and then we'll give away another mug. Emiliano Brito said, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, I'm not sure, donated $1.99. He said, "Amigo, howdy doody." Thank you for that message. And I don't know if you're a Spanish speaker, by the way. A lot of people on my channel are Spanish speakers. I am a Spanish speaker. It's as a second language. Yo espero que me digas si debería reaccionar a algo en español algún día, which just means I hope you tell me if I should react to something in Spanish someday. I hope to perhaps do that someday. Going down to the new messages, I'll read a few more and then we will give away a mug and I'll read a few more things from the community post, and then we'll stop. Okay? So, let's see. Juan Torres says, "Have you watched Arthur?" I do know about Arthur. I've seen one or two episodes, but for the channel, it's actually good if I haven't seen it. Right, that way I can react to it for the first time. But Arthur is a definite possibility. I'm gonna do some Arthur at some point. A lot of people have asked. James P says, "Do you know if you can also do nature pants?" If you have recommended it in the comments of my videos, it is in my list. I won't show it to you, but I have a whole list of episodes, and out to the side, it has the number of people who've recommended it. So when I go to film, I look at whatever has the highest number. That's what I tend to do. Okay. Um, oh yeah, the tapping sound might be my finger on the iPad, because with the iPad I have to physically scroll down the chat. That's probably what it is. So sorry. I'll try to do it quietly. Um, yeah, Natster, thanks for catching that. Ghostface says, I was wondering, do you like horror films? Not as much. And the horror games, I'll play those every once in a while. That's really popular on YouTube right now, horror games and the jump scares and everything. I may do that at some point. Jack says, congrats on 5K. Your videos always make my day. I really appreciate that. As a YouTuber, I never thought I would say that phrase, as a YouTuber, referring to myself. But I really enjoy comments like that, where I can positively impact people and just add to their day, entertaining them or giving them info or edutainment, as they say. I always appreciate that. And I see Kaimani Burrell, Teacher's Pet Level member, donated $10. I appreciate it, man, and I've appreciated all of your suggestions and things, and just your conversation, both on the members' live streams and on Discord. By the way, if you're a channel member, we have over 80, I think, channel members. I believe you get all of my members only videos, and you get all my videos early. I think I may do a members only live stream tomorrow. If you're a channel member, you'll get to take advantage of that, and that's at any channel member level, hall pass all the way through principal's office. So Kaimani says, if you remember the Avatar episode, what element or nation do you believe you'd be a part of? If you don't remember, save my question to be answered when you've seen better work. So what he's talking about is, a while back, quite a while ago, I did a reaction video to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I've only seen that one episode that I've reacted to, and it was all about the Fire Nation. So the main character, goes to school in the Fire Nation. That was pretty interesting, I have to say. If you haven't checked that one out, you can go check it out. My reaction to it. If you're a Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, let me know if there's a specific episode you want me to take a look at. I have a few already written down, and Kaimani has suggested a couple. Honestly, Kaimani, I'd have to watch more, I think, because I don't know the other tribes, or they kind of say them like at the beginning, right? But I don't know what they're like, so I can't really say what I would be a part of. The Fire Nation seems overly harsh, especially the school, like the headmaster, the principal of the school. He didn't. He actually appeared on the tier list. I think he got like C or D tier. He didn't get F tier. His redeeming quality was he had like a really good parent conference that he had with the main character's fake parents that weren't really his parents. But they seem a bit oppressive, honestly. Fire Nation. I don't know what other nations are like. So I'll get back to you on that. I will research the other nations and get back to you. Thank you, Kaimani, for your kind donation. All right, let me read some other ones. Some people are complimenting my Spanish. I do speak Spanish. I consider myself to be fluent, but I still am trying to learn new vocabulary every day. Let's see. What else? Brett Taply says, this year Christmas is on Thursday. And Brett, you comment a lot on my videos. I do notice when people comment a lot. So if you'd like to talk to us on the Discord, please let me know, but it's mostly channel members. Let's see. Chelsea Jackson says, have you ever considered doing edgier shows like Malcolm in the Middle? It just has to be clean. It depends on your definition of edgy. I typically don't do anything with profanity or anything like that in it. I don't know if that show has it or not. Let's see. Moth suggests a song reaction. Um, let's see. Sorry about the tapping. It's you're hearing me scroll through the chat messages. Ivan says, "When did you learn how to speak Spanish?" So I started in high school. I will often visit the Spanish classes of the schools that I've been in because I will tell them I didn't grow up speaking Spanish. I learned it through school, right? So I learned all the grammar, and then it just takes practice and really just using it over and over again. And then you get into conversations with people and you pick up new vocabulary that way. Let's see. Jose Castro says Arthur was my childhood show. That's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are in that boat. Very popular PBS kids show. Um, and Kaimani, thanks again. Appreciate it. Juan Torres says, to be honest, my favorite PBS kids show more than Arthur is Mr. Rogers and Daniel Tiger since modern PBS became never. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. A lot of people grew up on that for sure. Jason Hofgart says, yes, great idea. Amazing Chris says, but the Splinter episode. I've never seen it. I don't know if I'll ever see it. What people tend to do is they'll recommend the Splinter episode, or people will say, like, don't watch it under any circumstances, or someone will recommend it, and then that comment will get like 10 replies saying, don't watch it, don't watch it, don't watch it. It must be extremely gross. And you all know I tend to get grossed out fairly easily, honestly. So I don't know if I'll ever watch that one or not. Let's see. Bipolit says, I found it interesting that you've played Half-Life. I have played Half-Life. Now, this was like 20 years ago, but yes, I have. Pretty good little game. Moth says, your videos and Discord server make me happy. I'm glad to hear that, and thank you for being such an active part of my channel. Anthony Farrow, hey Brandon, do any of the students at your school have seen any of your videos? So, yes, they have, but not a whole lot. I don't typically talk about it at school for a bunch of different reasons. Banana is cool says, can you buy me a mug? You can buy you a mug, and you might win a mug here in a minute. And I'm going to stop again in a moment and do another drawing if I can ever. I probably won't make it to the end because they keep coming in. Natster says, he says some Spanish there. Couple minor errors in there, but he's saying that he needs to practice, but he keeps forgetting. Jay Medley, do you watch your episodes on an iPad? Typically not. I don't use this iPad too much. I typically have my PC set up in my familiar shelf behind me with all my stuff on it. All right, so I'm going to write down where I'm at, and we're going to do another drawing here. Or actually, what I'd like to do is subscribers. Let's see, I'll just read a few highlights. Jax Jr., which if you're here, you've been very active on the channel. You say congrats, you're awesome, which I appreciate. Michael Recutioner, who's very active and a channel member, says well deserved. He says your Ned's Declassified got me hooked on your channel, and he's binge watched those. A lot of people binge watch. Robert Barton says I watch your channel often. Started watching about 4 months ago. Let's see. Anna Fox says, congrats. I enjoy your content so much. Keep it up. Fallen Star 64, recently a channel member, says, congrats, man. I tell you what, I won't go through all these. There's too many. I'll just read, if you're a channel member, I'll read your comment. How about that? So I'm scrolling all the way down. There were a couple of channel members. Ryan Skalman, 7725, commented, congrats. Sub, no time. Let me see, any more channel members that commented? No, but I will go through and read them all privately and comment if you commented on that post. All right, let's give away another mug. So we'll give away another mug, and then I'll go back and read some more chat messages that you all are typing. I see them coming in. I will read it if I possibly can. And then we'll because we're going on an hour here. So for the 61 of you that are still here, let's give away another mug. So we're going to do it the exact same way At this time, if you would like to win a Principal Reacts mug, please type 1. Please only do it once. If you do it more than once, I will not count it, or we may just not include you in the drawing. So please just type it once. I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes that wants to type 1. It's going to be totally random. Then what I'll do is I'll count up the number of ones as best I can, and then I'll draw the random number and we'll see who wins. Okay? So I see people typing 1. I know there's always a little bit of lag, so I'm going to wait just a minute. Sorry if there's a lag on your end. My connection seems to be pretty stable from where I'm at. So the 1s are still coming in. Please don't type it more than once. I'm not going to count it. People are still typing 1, so I'll give you just a minute and we'll do it the exact same way. Just a reminder, if you win the mug, so all you have to do is DM me. I can't put the code here, right, because someone else would steal it, but all you have to do is DM me on Facebook, X, or Instagram. Those are the ones that I have, and then I'll verify that you are who you say you are, and then I will send you the code, and then you just use that code to redeem a free mug. You don't have to pay a thing. I don't think you have to pay shipping or anything like that. All right, so let's count up the number of 1s. So the first number 1 is Jay Medley. So number 1 was Jay Medley, was the first person to type 1. So I'm going to try, and sorry if my connection is bad. I think it's okay, but if it isn't, I apologize. So Jay Medley was number 1. I'm counting the 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Emma Kiley would be number 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to assume that Total Gamers meant to type 1 and count him as the 10th one, okay? So Total Gamers would be number 10. Let's see, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Banana is cool would be 15. Hopefully you'll win, man. But if you don't, I'm sorry. So he would be 15. Let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Gary San would be number 20. Let's see. Anthony Farrow, you can't type it more than once, okay? Let's see. Yeah, Gary San, same thing. 1. Okay, 21, 22, 23, 24. I think we've got about 25 in here. Brett Supply was about number 25. All right, so this time we have less people. I guess some people gave up and they missed out on this